Well, here we are. I wasn't expecting it to start this quickly, but here we go. And so this is doing a thing for Eco, and I gotta do. I haven't done a diary video in forever. I needed to record this shit because it fucked it up in the stream, and I wanted to have a bridge to show that I actually did this section and got it done. And I was like, well, I haven't recorded a diary video in a hot minute, so maybe we'll give that a shot. And here we are. Before anybody, like, don't worry that I haven't recorded any kind of diary stuff recently. It's mostly the issue here is that, like, there's only so many ways that you could say that life is completely a mess, but it's also absolutely absurdly boring. And it's not really any way around that. Like, can't pretty it up, and it's an awful lot of work to just convey that information and to make people feel worse that things aren't progressing or my life isn't particularly interesting, and I just, you kind of fall off the habit of doing them for a while. To loop back for anybody who's not like hanging out in the stream or is just close to me in general, uh, welcome to Eco, welcome to my house. So the face thing, the electrolysis thing, that's actually not going to be until September. You would know if I'd already had it done because I would have my face fucking everywhere. Look at my face that I don't need to be scraping all the skin off when I shave. Isn't it beautiful? It will be. I mean, it is now, but with fur, and it will not be with fur, at which point it will be the zenith of its beauty. One is hoping that is the plan, at least, but we'll see how that uh, winds up going. It's going to be expensive as fuck. It's going to be 2 hours, just the 2 hours, not including all the incidental fees like the consultation and there's blood work that they need to do and you got to pay for needles. But just like the 2 hours of work is going to be 120,000 yen. The nurse was suggesting maybe you should do for three, like over the phone, so she can actually see what my face looks like when it's got a month's worth of beard on it. But three, I mean, 180,000? That's, I can't, like it's gonna have to be, we're gonna have to get done what we can get done in 2 hours, and if it takes more than that, then that's just the way it's gonna be. What are you gonna do about it? There's nothing you can do really about it. So that's that's in the future. Today was Monday, so we went down. It was alternating Monday, so I went down to Shinjuku. I got my shots done. Been lots of L's for the trans girly right here. There's been lots of L's for trans girlies around the world. This is a real rough time for all of us. I understand because I'm in it. It's me. But also just like in my life. So apparently the manufacturers that handle the shots that I get, the particular medicine that they use at this clinic, there's been some kind of fuck up. I've got to look into that. The doctor explained it to me, but the most that I got from it was from his explanation, which was good, but like technical stuff, and just difficulty following that, and just, brain is other places. But so like they're gonna have to do like half doses, or well, no more than one 10 milliliter vial per injection, whereas I was doing 20 milliliters, like two little vials, since like December, January. Now, on one hand, like that's what I was getting before. Like my initial dosage was 10 milliliters every 2 weeks, and then we bumped that up to 20. Um, and we'll see. It's my body's, I imagine, gotten used to having the 20 milliliters, so it's going to be a little bit of a thing to see what this is like and if it's really going to fuck up my system. The doctor did, he said we've also got pills, we've also got gel, and I'll to see how I feel in 2 weeks. And if I'm feeling real crummy, I say, hey, why don't we try pills, because the gel wasn't really doing it for us. I do have this backup. I ordered a thing of gel like last year. It's still good. Like, it's got the use by date on it, and it's still well within the time frame that I need. But I got the Orky done, and then immediately started getting injections, and I never used that particular bottle of gel. And so I've been like, I can use that to kind of fill in I guess, although that might throw off the scientific method of like determining whether or not like going down to 10 is a real problem if I'm also buffering that with gel. But yeah, if I feel like this is not doing it, I'll just try pills, I guess, until the manufacturer sorted out. I did ask the doc about that and was like, hey, it, do we have a kind of time frame on when uh, this situation might be resolved? And doc was just like, it's manufacturer side stuff. We've just got the information that I've given you right now. I can't tell you really any more than that because I don't really have any more than that, and I don't hold that against him. He's only got access to what he's got access to, but yeah, so that's not super great. Not super happy with that, but it is what life is. It's the shape of life in the world right now. There's a lot of folks beyond me that are in much more straitened circumstances as far as getting their medications. So, like, at least I'm getting what I'm getting. Um, but having that insecurity in your life, and it does kind of, it's one more thing that you've got to kind of keep in the back of your head, and you've just got to remember it's not you can't forget. It's the constant reminder that like your body is just it just doesn't do what it needs to do. And I know there's thousands of different chronic illnesses and conditions that's just also the way it is for them. There's lots of bodies that don't do what they need to do and need to have that supplemented with accommodations or with medications. But our situation as trans women is it feels so fraught and it's so politicized. There's so much more to it than just the disappointments of the body that it's a lot to sit with sometimes. I went to a kind of like shotgunning this because I've only got 15 minutes to jabber on. Uh, I went to there was a trans meetup event that was held. My Tokyo friend, sent me the information and said, "Hey, it's gonna be on a Friday, and I know you're tired after work and you've got streams, but you know." And I was like, "Yes, please, yes, thank you. I will cancel my stream. I'll talk to folks, make sure that they're cool with it, and we're gonna do this. I want to do this. This is really important." And I'm super thankful to them for getting in touch with me about this. They didn't really know this group either. They just saw it on Instagram, which is another reason why I need to be on fucking Instagram. And I like, okay, positive side. First off, the location was fantastic. It was, I think, honestly, like the only queer forward place that I'd been in Japan that wasn't like the one gay bar that I went to because there was an event that I'd been invited to and it was a drag event, so I ended up leaving early anyways. But that's like a bar, and bars have their own particular vibes, what they exist in purpose of. And this was just, it's a nice coffee shop. It was a really comfortable place. The folks that were running it seemed pretty cool. It's a hike from where I live, but it is like a simple bus ride hike. So even though that's like 28 minutes on the bus, like it is at least directly almost to the door of that place, so I could actually find it again. And I think I'd like to incorporate that a little bit more into my life. Maybe take a night out of the week, like a Tuesday, where I don't have something else going on, and just go and hang out there for a couple of hours and see how it feels. Because I did like it. It felt very nostalgic in certain ways to places that I'd been when I was in Milwaukee in the heyday of the 90s pre-Starbucks, hipster coffee shop boom. Was when I was in Milwaukee, and it did feel similar to those kind of spaces. So that was really, really great. Like the folks were, like they were honestly friendly, the organizers and the folks that were there. Like they were nice. Uh, they're all like much younger than me, and that's always a little bit of a weird spot to be in, especially where everybody seemed to kind of have their lives together. Um, Nobody was really talking like they were in a job where they were dragging themselves over coals 40 hours a week to just get by. But like that's, hey, different experiences, different circumstances. Telling myself not to be envious, and I try to succeed at not being envious. I don't want to be I don't want to be like that. But they were cool. I got some really good like information about places that are similar to Babylon, where maybe I would be able to go to, like that run like hard kink and piercing events. Because like I said a couple, like many diaries ago, that there's a lot of overlap in those communities. And that would be great. I'd love to be in those spaces. Being able to maybe do suspensions again. I that would be fantastic. That's the dream. So like it was nice. There was a lot of niceness to the event, and I just there's you get to be like kind of semi hyper vigilant about things, just kind of existing as I do and the kind of person that I am, and on top of that being a trans girl and just knowing how we can be treated in places, and you kind of always got your eyes open for those kind of flags, red or otherwise, and just like things that kind of stood out to me that made me, I just think like, is this something I need to keep an eye on? Have in the back of my mind? Am I jumping at shadows? That extra emotional load that goes with these kind of things. Like they'd mentioned that, well, we really wanted to do like a get together, a grouping, and that was, because so many trans groupings are trauma first, and they're so political, and it's so weird to kind of like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, we've got trauma, and we should be political. Like, huh? There's only 3 trans women there out of, well, there's 3 trans women out of like the 10 folks that were there initially. 2 gals showed up from Florida on their vacation, which is kind of cool, honestly. There's like, yeah, hey, we noticed this flyer on Instagram, and we're here on vacation, so we thought we'd drop by, and like that's honestly kind of cool. And there was one gal that showed up with her non-trans gal later, but they didn't like really stay. They weren't part of that initial group, and it it felt like everybody was not. I mean, I did have a chance to talk to people. I don't want to make it feel like I was iced out, but like it did feel like it was a lot of me and the other trans gal who I knew. We talked about her in diaries before. She's the gal who's kind of fighting to stay in the country, get a refugee status because it'd be really dangerous for her to go back home. And when they mentioned it's not being political, and kind of looked at each other like, okay. But I get it too. Like I get that you want to have like joyful events, and you want to have like trans joy, and you don't want it always to be dark. And I get that. So it's you know I don't know. The guy was talking, and he's like, yeah, I you spend all these time in these lesbian spaces, and I go to like they've got like a beach event, or they got like a pool swimming event, and I tell them I'm just really butch, and that felt weird to me. Like that felt like I understand how that can be, and I understand that that might be the space that you need to be in, um, but like it almost felt like he was saying it like it wasn't nothing, like it wasn't no kind of thing, and thinking to myself like just how difficult it can be for trans women to be included in lesbian spaces, and I don't he wasn't being malicious. No one was being malicious. I want to be really clear about that. But it was a level of like gormlessness that it was just like, this is just something you can laugh off. You can just be like, yeah, I go to these swimming events, and I just tell them I'm really butch, and they let me hang out, and it's like, whatever. I don't know. It's weird, but like we're coming to the end, and I don't want to leave this all in heaviness and darkness. So I'm just gonna start to put the ribbon on it here before we run out of space. I love you all. I'm safe, and that's pretty much all I have to say. So from me, Isco, here in Tokyo, to all of you out there, wherever you may be. Actually, I gotta talk until like we get to the sofa, but it's gonna be pretty quick. So, uh, to wherever you may happen to be, um, I'm doing okay. I'm doing the best I can every day, and it's really the best that I can hope for. So, thank you, thank you. Arigato, arigasamryota, sayonara, see you, and we're not quite at the sofa yet. Sayonara. I should just stop it like really soon, I guess. I don't know. I don't even know. Do I just hit record? Sayonara, see you, and ciao.